Thank you, Concola. Taoireachtas, the Rural Regeneration and Development Fund is a commitment of €1 billion by government to be invested in rural Ireland between 2019 and 2027, and this is your words. The funds were set up to develop infrastructure that may be needed to support town centre housing and commercial development. With what? No investment in basic infrastructure for any of this development to happen. This eliminates increasing population in our towns and villages. No equality there. Urban areas always get a larger share of government funding, which leads to a huge discrepancy in basic infrastructure in health, transportation, broadband between urban and rural. Again, no equality there. I, as an elected TD, want similar access and resources and opportunities for the constituents of rural Ireland. Again, no equality there. Is this just plain discrimination by Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and the Greens' city-based cabinet? From where I am standing, we in rural Ireland are not on a playing level field. You are anti-rural, you are anti-small town and village, you are anti-farmer, you are anti-forestation, with licensing have dropped by 100% in forestation. You are anti-transport by delaying the driving licence for a person to get a driving licence or driving test by up to 6 months in rural Ireland, and our only way of transport. I cannot stress the importance of this. Our population, to have our schools, colleges, transport, sports and work in rural Ireland, we need basic infrastructure. I got an update from Uisce Éireann on infrastructure where loose statements have been made, such as Kilbehenny. Uisce Éireann turned around and told us in Kilbehenny, we didn't even know there was a sewerage system there, even though there was one there 50 years ago, and even though they upgraded the road and the stormwater and connected to the existing sewer, they didn't even know they had it. But they said we have a sewerage system for 3 houses in Kilbehenny. They said they didn't know about the infrastructure was there. Skeeton, going to appoint an engineer service for 2025 to 2029. 38 years they're looking for a sewerage system in Skeeton, where one of your own Fianna Fáil councillors has been announcing it all the time, and he's now retiring. He still haven't done it, and now you're saying 2029. Ula, we will issue a contractor in 2024, but will not increase capacity. That means I get no extra population in these areas, so that means I can't increase for the schools and the businesses and everything that I want around there. Hospital continues to access the situation. 20 new houses in hospital. They had to put 5 on-site sewerage systems in that housing system to take those houses. There's raw sewage going into the rivers. And you're the biggest polluter in Ireland yourselves, and you'll fine everyone else.
First of all, I want to thank the Deputy for raising this important issue. Ní ein team leis, ní dónam gwil an carta gut, nó fearin in a scéile ráite gut, tá annach chuid in a stíochtú de leisteach sna áit na túthe na tíre seo. Annach chuid in a stíocht I ngach éin áit an start. I don't agree with your central premise, Deputy. And again, the preliminary census results for 2022 show population growth in all counties, rural and urban Ireland. First time ever that this has happened. The number of people in employment has increased across all parts of the country. And we as a government are investing more money than ever before to support rural projects in rural communities. And I think you know this, Deputy, as well, whether it's through the Rural Regeneration Fund, which is quite unprecedented in its scale, Town and Village Renewal, CLAR, the Community Centres Fund, LEADER, Outdoor Recreation, the Sports Capital Funds, all which reached deep into rural Ireland and will suffice to underpin Limerick's supremacy for many years to come, but maybe not supremacy, but strength. We've full employment now with remote and blended working. That's reversing, because you know for years people in local communities are finding it very difficult to get work, many had to commute. the blended working, the hubs and so on like that that are being developed. There are more people living in rural Ireland than ever before, and there are more people working in rural Ireland than ever before. These are the facts, and there's more money being invested in rural Ireland than ever before. About 600 million has been invested since 2020 by the department to projects in rural communities under the Rural Development Investment Fund. And again, in 2023, 390 million for the Department of Rural and Community Development has been provided. And you've mentioned the billion already yourself. The majority of jobs are created outside Dublin now. 70% of jobs are created outside of Dublin. And there's been 430,000 jobs, 430,000 jobs created since this government took office. 70% created outside of Dublin. On towns and villages, I think one of the most imaginative schemes has been the Críochnatha, and now that's been expanded again by government in terms of the grants of 50,000 and 70,000, which will deal with dereliction in towns and villages across Ireland, and which will help couples and to deal with dereliction, but also create homes with very substantial state support, and that will support the wider rural infrastructure as well. Last November, over 115 million was announced for 23 landmark rural regeneration projects nationwide, which was the largest ever allocation under the fund itself. And I could go on, Deputy, but the housing as well. Very substantial number of houses have been built in rural Ireland in the last year, I'd have to say.
Taoiseach, so you're now saying that the amount of houses have been built in rural Ireland. So you're allowing the raw sewage to go in from Mesquite into the Shannon, you're allowed Drumculloch into the Deal, Kilbeheny into the function, Ula. So you're the biggest polluter environmentally in Ireland. You fine farmers and businesses and householders for any small pollution, but you're the biggest polluters from not upgrading these sewerage systems, and I'm talking 40 years. You can say where you're building. LDA is 15 minutes from Limerick City, which does not bring in up to 2/3 of County Limerick. These are infrastructure projects that are on your table for up to 40 years, and you're allowing raw sewage go into the waterways in Ireland. You're the biggest polluter in Ireland. We might have good employment at the moment, but we cannot have raw sewage go in and affect the people's health. And we cannot also look for the increasing of our towns and villages to increase for population because of raw sewage. And the stats are there, all the information is there, but stay in Limerick now when you give me the results for this one, please, Taoiseach. Stay in Limerick.
Well, I will stay in Limerick, but in fairness, you started nationally, and you, from my initial reply, you've shrunk back into your own constituency. Look, I know Kilbeheny well. Spent many of my happiest childhood years in Mitchelstown. Don't know Ballycarry, so I know the terrain. Look, on sewage treatment, Minister for Finance, Public Expenditure, both have allocated unprecedented money to Irish Water for sewage treatment plants. Okay, and sorry, look, they do know it's there, but there is a significant investment programme in sewage treatment plants, and we need to do more, Deputy. And it's an issue of capacity now, in terms of the money has been allocated. And the reason we're doing it, it's tied into the housing programme as well. And I'm dealing with this government now, because this government is responsible for what's there, and to make sure we can improve upon particularly water quality. And that is a key priority of government. And there's many factors that go into the pollution of our waterways and so on. But be in no doubt that the projects that you have listed, work is underway in quite a range of those. You know that as well, and you haven't quite said that. Many schemes take time to bring to fruition and so on like that. And Deputy, I know you'll be the first there when some of these schemes are opened.
You'll be the first at the Ryder Cup as well. Big investment.